what do you see happening going into 2023? We're in an interesting economic environment, right? Lots of talk about recession, inflation. Obviously, we joked about the cost of gas in California. I mean, It's been an interesting year, and who knows what's going to happen in 2023. But what do you see from an advancement? Do you see that there will be a continued growth in broadband deployments and continued growth in just adoption?
Well, here's kind of how I look at this cycle, and at least as of recent, we've been building community wireless broadband networks since 2014. Started in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which just had a major press release for their completion of their phase 8, right? So we've got probably about 10 square miles of covered. Awesome, just fantastic. But 2020, for those that hadn't got ahead of that curve in the planning like Council Bluffs, 2020 was an awareness of the need for connectivity, right? It was shelter in place. It's like, oh my gosh, these kids are going to be a year behind. We got to do something. So 2020 was the awareness. 2021 was the talk, right? Hey, we're going to change.
We should probably do something.
Yeah, we're going to do something. We're going to change it. We're going to change laws. We're going to commit to funding this, that, and the other, right? 2022 became the planning. So now you're seeing the actual, funds being released for broadband mapping. So the planning piece. So we see 2023 as the building of it, right? And some of these initiatives, we've been building kind of all along, but I really think the major uptick, like we're going to see a very large uptick in 2023, and we can just kind of go to a couple of the projects we're engaged in. We were recently awarded a broadband project for the city of Los Angeles. We were recently awarded or selected for the master services agreement for Los Angeles County, along with
Nice.
I think 4 or 5 other companies to bid on future digital divide programs. But when you look at all the planning that had to go before someone like an LA County, for example, and they went through this methodical process of let's go through this RFP process. Let's find out how to qualify companies that can even help us with our needs,
right?
And identified funding, and they've stated $56 million allocated toward broadband development projects, right? That's making a difference. So what we see in 2023 is those RFPs for different communities in LA County will be released, and that's when you'll start seeing the difference making. So 2023 will be the building, and then 2024 will start to reap on that return on connectivity investment, right? You'll start to really see the excitement in the community of individuals who are seeing a difference being made, grades going up, graduation rates increasing. So that's kind of how we see things going over the next 2-3 years.
Do you see an increase as that, into 2024, like the increase in use of different IoT services, right? To your point of it's a path, right? We stop, from Netflix and all that. Like, do you see the increase in usability and use of more IoT technology?
Absolutely, right. It's like it's like this. We're paving the foundation, right? We're if it was a building, we're pouring the concrete foundation. So what you're going to see is everything that layers on top of that, right? IoT, smart city applications, being able to serve the communities. These infrastructures can be used for multiple purposes. Data analytics is going to be huge, right? And our customers are using that information today to help understand and know kind of where they're getting the greatest benefit of return on connectivity. If you build a digital divide network into a neighborhood and no one's using the network, then you're probably in the wrong neighborhood. You're probably in a neighborhood where people where they can afford it, right? So you're not hitting those areas with the greatest need. And that's what we're doing. We're not, these networks, we're not competing against the AT&Ts and the Comcasts of the world. That's not what this is about, right? This is, there's a, sometimes we'll hear a misnomer of, man, AT&T, they don't care about us. They're not bringing connectivity in the neighborhood. Well, if people can't afford the rates and you're a publicly traded company and you're tasked with making money, then, I can't fault you for not being there.
Right.
But it doesn't remove the social responsibility of those communities and the impact they make to a city, right? And cities operate on two things at the end of the day. It's tax revenue and reduction of operating expenses. And if we can keep the kids in school, right, we give them an opportunity for gainful employment after that. And if they are gainfully employed, then they are paying taxes, right? We've given them an opportunity to participate in society as everyone, like all of us, we take for granted. Yeah. And if they're gainfully employed, then they're not on the streets. So that reduces crime and other things. Because if you don't have a job, if you can't afford to feed your family, you have to do what you need to do to feed your family. And
right.
It just is what it is, right? So, unless that city is going to rezone and say, hey, I'm just going to look the other way. I'm going to, I don't want you to be a part of my thing, which is the wrong thing to do.
Right.
Right. It's a way to do something, just like bringing community centers into the same neighborhoods to give some type of opportunity for learning, or media centers, libraries. So there's a learning environment in there, right?